Previously on Deck of Many Aces.
I'm playing Yaia Akikht, who is an Aarakocra ranger.
I am playing Gambol, a wild magic sorcerer changeling.
Today I'm playing Jacob, who is a human warlock.
I'll be playing Gimbal, who is a clockwork soul sorcerer and is brother to Gambol.
Yaia is most definitely in charge, I feel.
Absolutely, yeah, that tracks.
Oh yeah, it's not Jacob.
You know you can't eat that, right?
Yeah, I know. It's not for me. I'm wondering what'll happen.
Oh my god, are you gonna give the spices to your dog?
We start with your characters coming to the Grosset City, Kilrati. You have been requested for a piece of work. There is a ghost problem, as it's kind of briefly been described. You need to make your way to the city, and then when you get to the city, make your way to the large tree in the center. Hello and welcome to Deck of Many Aces, an actual play podcast made with actual Aromantics.
Congratulations for doing the intro better than me.
Asexuals may also be included.
No, this episode is only for Aromantic. I am Eiriol. I use she/they pronouns, and I'm going to be your DM for today. Your demi-romantic, meringue.
There you go.
That was the thing
Yay.
you said. I remembered it this time. Haha. Do people want to go through and introduce themselves?
Yes, hello. My name is Chloe, and I am playing not Raina Rishwood, but Yaia Akikht, an Aarakocra ranger who is done with all of the other PC's shenanigans
Hey,
already.
Jacob's been but well behaved mostly.
Jacob has a cursed doll. Enough said.
It's more like the cursed doll has Jacob.
That's horrendous.
It's like
Worse.
a cat.
Worse. Oh, we both use she/her pronouns. One day. One day.
Webster?
Oh yes. Oh god. Sorry. I'm not used to this order at all. I don't like this. Also, the fact that you refer to me as a Webster makes me think that I should definitely be last and not second. But there we are.
Sorry, Webster,
hi.
your name is just too early in the alphabet.
I know what I do. I know how much I curse you.
Curse me. Hi, I'm Ellie. I use she/her pronouns, and today I am playing Gambol, one half of the Order and Chaos twins. Gambol uses she/her pronouns and is a changeling wild magic sorcerer. I've already said my pronouns, haven't I? Yes. I'm doing really well.
Hi, I am Katie. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns, and today I am playing Jacob, who is a human warlock, and he uses he, him pronouns.
I am Nathan. My pronouns are he, him. And I will be playing Gimbal, who is a clockwork sorcerer who uses...
Did you just say a clockwork sorcerer?
Yes, I did.
A sorcerer
Oh
is a
my
jazz musician,
God.
and I refuse to accept anything else.
Oh,
I
cursed
can't
energy.
really do that with mine because I'm a Deep Stalker ranger, and both of those end in
Also, like, I know this is me,
deep
but like
ranger.
deep
Deep ranger.
Deep Stalker just really gives me incel energy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I don't like that.
I'm so sorry. It's
please
just whenever
take
you
it
say
back.
Deep Stalker.
I've just got that it's Gimbal, like Gimbal, as in the thing that is like used in clockwork and gyroscopes and stuff.
Yep.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And Gambol,
And
as in
And
gambling
Gambol is into,
along.
Yeah, well, also
gamble.
the random
Yes.
chance of gambling.
Good.
And,
That's
like,
a good character name choices. Well done, you
Yes,
two.
thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
so clever.
I was gonna say, to be fair, like Nate sent me his character name and character sheet first, and I was like, okay, cool, I've got to match this. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh gosh, this is so good. I need to like match it. And I spent literally days trying to figure out like a good name. And then I was like I think my first thought was oh god, I feel like it was like, no, it wasn't jambalaya, but it was like that vibe. Because I was like,
my
just
days.
something stupid.
I mean, that is a chaotic name.
If
Gimbal
our-
and Jambalaya.
If our characters are poetry, then Gimbal is the meter and Gambol is the rhyme.
Aww, I'm
That
obsessed
is
with
an
that.
excellent.
Beautiful.
Did you
Yeah.
just come up with that out of nowhere?
I mean, yeah.
That was a good.
That was
comparison. I love
beautiful.
Thank you.
It was.
It was.
It was.
For the
Yes.
record, if anyone else was wondering, I picked Jacob for Jacob's name because that was next on my list of names to use for PCs.
I used an online name generator.
Fun.
So I have no.
To be fair, every time you say
invention.
Yaia, I just think Yaia Binks, but in a German accent.
No! Oh, she's so cursed.
Yaia Binks.
For reference, all of the growth folk names are based off of poisonous plants of various forms.
Love it.
I did catch that
Yeah.
when you first introduced Delphinium. I was like, that's
Yes.
so cool.
Anyway, let's play some D&D. Let's do-
Dungeons
let's-
and
let's
Dragons.
D&Ds. I'm not going to say the joke. So, what happened last session? It was so long ago, I'm aware, but try to pull back your memory and count it for us.
I met two very nice clocks.
And that's it. That was the session.
I tried to convince Gimbal that clocks don't have names, feelings, or lives, but he didn't believe me.
We spent 2 hours talking. We spent 2 hours. We spent an hour talking about clocks. That was it.
And the symmetricalness of beds.
There was we spent a lot of time doing random activities that were probably not conducive to an adventure, and then at the end there was like a weird bit where everyone sang, and then this bell chimed 17 times.
Hey, you don't need to call it weird. It may be a perfectly normal
Just 'cause
thing
you're
to
having
do.
culture shock.
Yes. Come on, Gambol. It's a normal thing to do.
I want to come back to like with a witty rebuttal, but I genuinely don't have one, so all I can say is sorry.
Well, I came out to have fun, and I'm feeling so attacked right now.
I came out to make to make jokey problematic things, and now I feel like I'm actually being problematic.
Well, thankfully, this race doesn't exist in real life.
Yeah, thankfully, and it's not a poorly constructed allegory for any other ethnicity, because that would be bad.
Yeah, I spent a long time thinking of that.
Oh my
Here to
goodness.
hunt ghosts and greet clocks, and I'm all out of clocks.
Yay.
That is going in the episode promo.
I think that's
Yes!
the name of the episode.
I'm all out.
I'm all out of clocks.
Oh yes, I've got no clocks to
Okay.
give.
Okay.
That would be good, Ellie, but it's too no.
Unfortunately, that song, while wonderful, is not suitable for our podcast. But
No.
D&D.
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 Here we go. We're doing it again.
we're at our residence for our briefing.
Yes.
Are we? Are we back
Yes.
from the craft bit?
Yes, you're back from the craft bit. Unless you had, let's just say you are. You can visit it when you leave.
Can I have bought something outrageously useless for me and Gimbal?
Yes, without a doubt.
Like just something so ridiculously touristy that is like simultaneously tacky but also kind of artisanal.
There
Snow
is
globes?
nothing touristy in this city, Ellie. It is not. There are no tourists. Anyone who comes here is gonna die.
That's the tagline. Come to Cowarty. Anyone who comes
Yup.
here dies.
I mean,
Yeah, there's
everyone
no
dies
tourists.
eventually, usually.
Well, the tourists are now the ghosts.
Yeah.
You don't know where the ghosts came from. Well, actually, Eiriol specifically does.
Hey, you did the thing where you made a joke and it's actually the case.
Oh my god. This is a running theme.
You buy some useless crafts of some sort. I'll figure something out.
Maybe like
that
a
you couldn't have
comb for
bought.
your leaves, except she doesn't have any leaves. to
Yeah,
comb.
something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, you buy pruning shears.
Excellent.
Oh, now you've given her a weapon. Now
What's the damage dice on pruning shears?
A D4.
Nice.
Right, same as a knife.
I'm adding it
Good
to my
to know.
inventory.
Yeah.
What have you got there, Gambol?
I thought that these would be really pretty and also potentially quite useful for you. They're pruning shears. I don't know what manner of ghosts we're gonna come up against, but if they happen to be of the grow folk variety, then maybe pruning shears will help.
They are very ornate pruning shears. They're very fancy.
Well, you know what they say, it's the thought that counts.
There was no thought. Only counting.
Only vibes.
Only vibes.
That was counting.
Yaia gives a death stare from the corner of the room where she's furiously drawing a map.
Our guide is 2 minutes late.
Yes. So Gertless rushes in at this point when you say they're 2 minutes late and says, "I'm so sorry I'm late. The meeting overrun. It was quite important."
Oh, no worries, no worries. Thank you for coming.
They kneel at the table that's in the centre of the room and they say, "Come sit or however you like. Thank you so much for coming here. We've been having a problem recently. We weren't entirely aware. People have been going missing, and while that's not impossible in the forest, it does happen. It's very sad, of course, but it does occur. It's been increasing recently, and
That sounds terrible.
at first we thought there might be some sort of beast in the woods or something along those lines, but a week ago a person came to us from an incident. Someone reported that they were in a panic. Something had happened to them, and we managed to learn from them that there is a house to the sort of northeast of the city that they believe is haunted, that they've experienced this phenomena in, and we have no one who's an expert in this field, so that's why we contacted you.
Or have they described anything more specific than simply haunted? Because there's a lot of different types of ghosts.
We found it difficult to get much information out of them. They were saying that something was trying to get them, that it was trying to hurt them in some way, and they can't remember exactly, but it was, what was it? Something was calling them into the house. I don't know if that's literally or metaphorically, but it was calling them to the house. And when they went in, something attacked them or was going to attack them, and they ran. I think other things might have happened, but that's what we could get from them.
What makes you think this is related to the people going missing? Are they coming back as ghosts?
Well, no, but this is the first time something like this has happened in a long while, and usually it's a singular event. When I say it's increased, there have been 30 people, roughly. We don't know the exact numbers, of course, who have gone missing in the last
Of course you don't know the
4
exact
months.
numbers.
Gimbal not know.
This isn't the
How
time.
many degrees northeast is it?
I have no idea. We don't use degrees.
I'll pull out the map and be like, can you show me on the map?
You haven't mapped out the area, but they sort of point to. They point off the map that you've drawn out, a ways away. Like it's a bit away a bit out of the city, but it's not like ridiculously far. It's like probably 2 hours walk, maybe, from where you are, not out of the city.
Yeah.
And they say when people go missing like this, it's usually a singular event that causes the rise, and
This has happened before.
We believe, we don't know, but we believe that this is responsible for a number of them.
When you say this usually happens, has it happened before?
A long time ago, we have records of a beast that came into the woods. People were going missing, and then a number of people got attacked, and we sent people to deal with that. I think guard is the closest word to it, and they dealt with it fine, but we sent someone to check out this house and they couldn't find anything wrong with it, but it's a strange house. There are things in it that seem strange. They couldn't describe it exactly, it was more of a feeling, but as well as the report we had from this person who we believe that it is haunted, and people have been avoiding it for a while now. We did lose the person who reported this to us. They died shortly afterwards, and we are unsure why.
Well, that answers my next question, which was going to be, can we talk to them?
Just sort of dropped dead then?
No, they got ill. They couldn't walk, they were lethargic, and eventually they died. They fell asleep and would not wake up.
Huh.
How long between when they found the stuff in the house and when they died?
It would have been 3 days, I believe, maybe more.
Well, that bodes well for us.
I do understand if you're hesitant, but I was under the assumption you were experts and knew how to interact with this stuff.
Oh no, we'll I'm sure.
This is our job.
Yes, we are, as you say, experts on this, and we will do everything in our power to make sure this does not continue happening.
Thank you. And if you do need any help or resources, please do ask. We are dedicated to solving this.
Okay. Thank you, Big Skirtless.
Of course.
Gambol sticks her hand in the air and says, this may be completely unrelated, but, what was the whole, singing, bell ringing thing about earlier?
Telbracklin. Yes. It's, a celebration of the people born in the year. We sing the song, and we ring a bell for every fifth child born.
Okay. And was there any reason that it happened at, this particular time? Is it just, a custom thing?
No reason, I believe. I don't know how it started, but it's when we do it.
Oh, okay. Cool. That was all. I'm just curious.
Of course, it's a lovely celebration.
Sorry, did you say every 5 children born?
Yes, every 5th child born.
And how often is that, do you think?
Oh, no, as in the bell is rung for every 5th child born.
So
it isn't rung every time the 5th child is born. It's done once a year.
5 times 17 children born this year, I believe.
I see.
Yes.
That's less than 100 children this year.
Yes.
Is that an unusually high or low amount?
It's an unusually low amount that I would consider, but then I am only human.
No, it's average.
Oh, you mean for growth? I thought you meant just compared to
Slightly higher, actually.
Other cities. No, okay.
Oh no!
To be precise, it's 85.
For Growfolk, this is entirely normal.
Yes, okay.
Yes, well they round down.
Huh.
So it could be up to 89.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
I don't like that.
That it's 85 to 89.
This is the worst city in the world for you.
I don't mean to be impolite, but this place is very imprecise.
Isn't it?
Well, no one cares about that but you.
Hey! I mean, I also don't care, but it's important.
We are as precise as we...
Your clocks must be very unhappy.
The clock does not have feelings.
Oh my god.
What are feelings anyway?
And that's what makes them such great friends.
Anyway, moving on. moving on from that, is there anything else that you need from us, or that we can discuss, or shall we get to work?
No, I don't believe so. Again, if you do need any resources of any form, we will try to get them. And I can, if you need supplies, I'm sure I can point you in the right direction to. There are plenty of shops so that they can be touched.
I have a couple more questions. You might have mentioned them earlier. I wasn't paying 100% attention. But two things. First thing, is there? I know that there aren't lots of living witnesses to this, but like, is this sort of the freaky vibes? Are they like more vibe-y at certain times of day, or are they mostly consistent?
Gimbal is wincing.
She said, I believe the report we got was, he said it was, the weather wasn't good. I think that's what it, and yes, the weather wasn't good that day. It was foggy, I believe.
Gambol is writing, bad weather equals bad vibes.
But I have no idea whether that's to do with the...
Okay.
Katie, in real life, I'm also writing bad weather equals bad vibes.
I, Ellie, am also writing in real life, bad weather equals bad vibes.
I've written foggy weather.
Gimbal is internally objecting to this use of the equal sign.
Second question. So you said it was a house in the non-specific northeast of the city.
Yes.
Is there any like history of the house that's like worth knowing about? Is it just an ordinary house, or does it have any socio-cultural, political, historical relevance?
I am not aware of it. If you'd like, you can come to Coltero and we can have a rummage around in the records to see if there's anything.
Do I get to climb the big tree?
Oh no, this is in the roots. Your outsiders aren't allowed to climb the tree.
Oh.
It might be a wise idea, though. It's a good idea to know what kind of ghost we're going up against
This is true.
before we go.
I am always in favour of research.
Yes, that would be a good plan.
I'm always in the favor of running in and finding out, but I also understand the importance of research, so fine.
I mean, if you want, you can come now. I'm making my way back there after
That would be perfect.
our conversation.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
sounds like I would be interested to have a look at your records room, actually. I've not seen any of your literature or libraries here, but sure it'd be quite interesting.
Of course.
What filing system do you use?
Gimbal is suddenly paying attention.
Yaia is not.
They probably do it by date, and then different sections of their record space are dedicated to the different types of records. So they have one that's dedicated.
Okay, as long as
to...
it's not Fantasy Dewey Decimal System, then I think
No,
Jacob is satisfied.
it's solely by date because these are official records.
Okay.
If it was a library, then I have no idea. I haven't thought of it. This is more it would be the equivalent of how you would organise newspapers and stuff by date, by subject, whatever.
Jacob, once upon a time, in his in the before times of his life, was a nerd. Nowadays, he's
A warlock.
not able to be a nerd
Because he's a warlock.
because he's being a warlock.
He changed career paths.
Career path.
Are you saying you cannot be a nerd and a sugar baby at the same time?
His career path was tragically swept from under his feet by a haunted doll.
You can definitely be a nerd and a sugar baby.
He would like to be a nerd. He would like to go back home and have a comfortable job and not have to ghost hunt and not have to interact with a haunted doll ever again. But that doesn't seem to be on his immediate agenda.
This is absolutely the opposite vibes of Gambol and Gimbal.
So, you make your way to Kiltaro, the tree.
While we're on our way, you might be interested to know that the Dewey Decimal System was developed by the Fae
Really?
and uses the number of dewdrops on the book to determine where it goes, which is horribly imprecise and makes me very upset.
Oh, is that why it's so illogical?
It is.
That's so cool!
Oh, wonderful. I did not know that. Thank you.
I would really like to speak to a Fae at some point. I feel like we'd have a lot to talk about.
No, Gambol, I feel like that would be a very bad idea from you.
Why?
Agreed.
Well, they're very tricksy.
So am I.
Exactly.
She says and transforms into something that she thinks resembles a Fae. Probably doesn't because she's never seen one before.
I mean, I don't think Yaia has either, but I mean, she definitely knows a bit about. I feel like she knows a bit about everything, and she knows a lot about ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're playing this.
That makes sense. That tracks. That very much tracks.
So we get to Kelterrol.
Hey everyone, it's Ellie here. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you are, please consider checking out our supporter Acast link. This is like a virtual tip jar where you can just give us a little bit of a thank you in financial form. We obviously accept thank yous in non-financial forms, and you are in no way obligated to do this. It would just be a nice cool thing. All the proceeds of that go towards things like making a web domain, investing in merch, and also compensating the lovely, lovely PCs that I have on this show, because they're great, and they deserve all the love and all the riches in the world. You can find that at supporter.acast.com/deck of many aces, with spaces in between the words. There's also a link right at the bottom of the episode description. Today's promo is for Chosen Ones. How do I even begin to describe Chosen Ones? If you enjoy the deep world building that we do in Doma, if you enjoy the rich characterization and the emphasis on roleplay, then you'll definitely enjoy Chosen Ones. The most interesting thing about Chosen Ones is that it is a visual graphic novel style YouTube series, which is so exciting because I don't think that there's anything else in the podcasting sphere like it. So you can find them on YouTube, and if you don't have the time, or if you would rather just listen to it rather than see the graphics, then you can also listen to it as a audio only podcast, available on most podcasting platforms. They've also launched a Kickstarter to help them create their third series trailer and properly compensate the artists and the musicians that are working on it. So if you'd like to support them, then you should check out their Kickstarter. It's advertised on their YouTube and also on their Twitter. Roll trailer!
Well, hello there, young adventurer. I've been waiting for you. We've met before, don't you remember? No worries. I'm quite forgetful myself. The other Sparks are waiting for you. Aviath, Shui, Theo, and Brandy. They've had such wonderful tales to tell. A truly marvelous story. I wonder which one of them will be the chosen one. Perhaps none of them will. Perhaps it will be you. The morning's coming soon. I have to leave now. Will I see you again? I sure hope so. Is a story really a story if there's no one to tell it to? Well, goodbye for now, adventurer.
Chosen Ones is a visual novel-style D&D podcast on YouTube that releases every Thursday at 1 p.m. CST. Find us on Twitter at Chosen Ones D&D. Come adventure with us.
You can see there are people going up the tree into the branches. But where you're going is this kind of entrance that burrows deep, it burrows underneath the roots of the tree.
Aww.
Although it's actually it's surprisingly light. There's holes that have been burrowed out from the ceiling to the ground. I don't know how to describe that properly. That bring in sunlight into the space. And there are kind of occasionally sort of magical lights that have been put up around the building. Around the roots. When you first walk in, there is a sunken space in which there are sort of chairs and various places for people to sit, and you see a couple of people who are sitting in this space having like a discussion, and you can't understand what they're saying because they're speaking in Grovian. Gertless will say, this is where most of the discussions about the city happen. I think, what do you call it? Government? Or something along those lines. It's something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Ah, yes. Government.
I think it's slightly different, but it's close enough.
Like a council?
Yes, maybe. I'm not the best with common, but I do learn, of course.
I've got many languages I can talk to you in if you prefer.
No. I only know common and Grovian.
Oh, I don't know that one.
And they lead you around sort of to around the area and to like the back, in which there is it opens up into a room in which they've got sort of lots of bookshelves with books and records of various types filed along the walls. And at the top of each shelf there is a plate with the date on it, and it goes back quite a way, not ridiculously far, a couple of maybe like 2,000 years, which sounds like a long time, but it's like the records are surprisingly brief. Like each bookshelf spans probably like 80 years, depending on how busy it was.
Okay.
Are the records written in Grovian?
Yes, they are. But I'll be able to translate.
Gimbal will sit down on the floor and say, I'll just need 10 minutes and 6 seconds, and sets a timer on his clockwork gauntlet and just sits on the floor while it ticks away, and is casting Comprehend Languages as a ritual.
Very nice. In the meantime, Gambol, who I think has taken a liking to this Fae-esque visage. We don't know what Fae look like in this universe as well, so this is interesting.
Yeah, we haven't
This is just
decided.
like someone saying, I would like to look like a fairy, and then doing it in our world.
Yes, but I think we culturally have an idea of what a fairy might look like in our world, whereas I think in this world, I don't know if we know that yet.
It's a bit more like being like, I want to look like a noble eldritch horror, and then just doing it, and everyone's fine with it.
We've got like folk tales and stuff.
Yeah, we do.
about
That's
the
true.
Fae. So there might be
Yeah.
a societal image.
Out of character, we haven't decided what that looks
Yes.
like. Do you want to decide now what Fae look like?
This is so much
Forever?
responsibility.
I think certainly Gambol's version of Fae, she's kept some things that are sort of true to her, quote unquote true, like, self. So she's got like this long whitish hair and the sort of milky pupil-less eyes that's just sclera, and but instead of her kind of like usual face, she's kind of got her teeth are just like even more sort of sharp
How sharp are they normally?
than they normally are, which is, so she's got quite sharp teeth. They're almost sort of vampiric. She, I think, has like kind of put this, it's almost like an Instagram filter, weird artificial blush on her cheeks, but it hovers like about an inch off of her skin, so it looks visibly like a filter. And she's got
This is
these
amazing.
long, sort of mossy antlers protruding from her head, and she's walking on cloven hooves. So that's what she thinks the Fae look like.
I feel like the rest of us are completely ignoring this because we're so used to Gambol just turning into ridiculous things that we're like, oh, here she goes again.
Absolutely. But I think what she's going to do is I'm going to roll 2 D100, and then whatever I get, I'm going to pull out the records from that many years ago, if that's okay.
Of course. Yep, that's fine.
Testing your knowledge, Eiriol. Woo!
It's testing my ability to come with stuff on the spot, Ellie.
So we've got something, so she pulls out a record from 94 years ago, and she pulls out a record from 67 years ago, and puts them in front of Gimbal expectantly.
Okay.
Is Gimbal still busy to...
So,
have you
Yeah.
finished the spell yet?
It takes exactly 10 minutes and 6 seconds.
Oh, of course.
So you probably like spent a minute doing this. So you've got a bit of time left before Gimbal can read it.
Can I ask the guide with us, who I've forgotten the name of, which year, which years the previous disappearances occurred in?
The disappearances were all in this year, and then they will say, "I'll take you to the records now," and they take you sort of to a little bit, and there is a table set up with all of these records on them. This has been sort of looked through, and they say this is all of the people who've gone missing this year.
Okay.
And there's sort of like 12. No, there's probably about 16 records that are still relatively thin. There's not like huge amounts of data on them, but have got of grow folk. And then there's a piece of paper with just a list of names, and that's only about 8 or so.
Oh. What about? Did he say something about there being disappearances or weird occurrences in the past? Some sort of monster?
Yes, some sort of beast.
Yes. I mean, that was... The last time that kind of thing happened was 160 years ago, I believe.
Okay.
Do you think it could be related?
I'm doubtful. The monster, at least to that specific occurrence. I don't know of all the times that happened. You'd have to ask someone who had a better recollection of it. We had, I think, maybe one at 340 years ago, roughly. And then, there was one 250 as well. But we found the reasons for all of those, and we believe we stopped them, at least.
Okay.
Well, perhaps we can...
One was a monster, one was... there was a illness going around, and the other was someone came in and was causing problems. And it was nowhere near the site of this place.
Well, perhaps we can find out if these recent disappearances have any correlations, and then we can see if that matches anything from the previous ones.
Okay, it'll take me some time to find those records.
Exactly, that's why I think we should start with the ones we've got.
Yes, and they say, take a seat and feel free to peruse those records. I'll try and find the ones that you were asking about. And they walk off in a different direction.
I see Yaia's just going to sit down at one of the tables and start sifting through the stuff.
And Jacob's going to help out.
I think she pulls out a monocle.
Yes.
To do this with.
So these records are of like 24 grow folk people, each with, and they have like a name, parent, any like relations kind of thing, like, and then like occupation, that kind of stuff. It's like old-fashioned records where it's like you don't have loads of records on kind of random people. You just have like vague things. But these are like with other people as well, but they've sort of been like highlighted in some way, and these different pages have the people, and then there's a sheet to the side that has name, race, and sort of occupation / reason for visit. This is all in Grovian, by the way.
Oh, so I can't read any of it.
Yeah.
Does it use like the same numbers? Can we pass?
Yeah, you could find out like the date that they were born, and like you can figure that out. They've probably left, like, if you ask them, they can write down like a quick guide to the numbers, because it's still
it must be fairly easy to pass out date of birth and
yeah, and names are all names.
Is there any
occupation and thing?
A record of when they all went missing? Like, could I get that from the numbers?
Yes, so that's been written next to all of these people as the date of death.
Okay. Does there seem to be any kind of pattern? Like, is it every, 2 days or something, or are they completely random?
Roll me investigation.
Yeah.
Can I help out?
So you'll definitely be able to get some... Yeah, sure, give advantage.
I rolled the same...
You'll definitely be able to get some information.
I rolled the same number as I did before, so that's another 21.
Woo!
Oh, well done.
Lovely.
You're looking through the dates and you see there is a small collection of about 4 people to start with, and then there's sort of random blips. But recently it's becoming more and more... Like, when you look at the dates, it's becoming closer and closer and closer.
Oh, great.
But you realise those 4 people to start with all have the same last name.
A whole family.
What is the last name? Is it anything we recognise?
No.
Okay, so it's not Delphi's family.
No, it is not Delphi's family. I am not doing that to Delphi.
We are not unlocking Delphi's tragic backstory.
I was gonna say that's also like very big main character energy from Eiriol to be like, this one shot that's like not about any of the main characters.
It's actually
it's
about the main character.
my character's family. Ha ha ha.
No, none of them are names you recognise in or out of character.
Okay.
But none of the rest of them have same last names, just the 4.
Yeah. All of the other ones are different. Actually, the races on the 8 people who are not Grove folk are written in common, because there isn't words for that in Grovian.
Okay.
So you have to use the common words.
So, who are the people that have gone missing who weren't Grove folk? I was under the impression that there were not many non-Grove folk in the city.
So there's a halfling, there's a human, there are lizard folk, but you realise those names are also in the Grove, in the records that are like the Grove folk people as well.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dragonborn, there's a Tabaxi, there's 2 gnomes. I don't know how many people I said now, and I think there's probably a dwarf.
That's 8.
None of them have the same last name, none of them have... The occupations are... Some of them are the same, but you don't know what they are.
Okay.
Will Gimbal know with his translational abilities?
Yeah, when he comes over, you'll be able to read off any of the information that's in Grovian.
I have a feeling that these 4 with the same name might have been the family that lived in that house.
Ha! That's a super cursed house in that case.
Super sad.
Gimbal, are you done?
This may come across as impolite, but I would have to say that this is not my favourite language.
What is your favorite language?
I'm going to be thinking about this for an hour and 55 seconds.
Gimbal, focus. We gotta think about this first and languages later.
The occupations from the people who are not Grovian, the lizard folk have relatively normal ones. They're sort of they're maybe slightly fancier, like a doctor or a scientist or researcher, things like that, but like not wildly fancy. And then the other ones are...
Are they all ghost hunters?
Some are dignitaries. Yes, they're all ghost
Oh no!
They're all dignitaries, and there's some artists and some craftspeople. That's the 3 kind of types that you get from that list, really, other than the lizard folk.
Gambol shoots a very nervous look at Gimbal when he mentions dignitaries.
Dignitary's the right word, right?
I'm not sure how this has not caused an international incident at this point.
That's true.
Dignitary might not be the right word, but anyway, it's close enough. Gertless will come back and says, "Hi, how are you getting on? I haven't found the records yet. It's going to be probably a while longer. Anything you need to ask me before?"
Why do participles in your language work like this?
Not now.
Gimbal, have you found anything about... Oh my gosh.
Scotland!
Scotland! Oh.
About Scotland.
Gimbal, have you found... Oh, I've lost it.
Yorkshire.
Have you found anything... Yorkshire. Have you found anything about how they went missing and where they were?
Can I roll for research?
There is no record of how they met. A lot of the people were invited by sort of the government kind of thing, by like the council, to take part in like discussions about tourism, about getting more people into the city, or art and doing art based on the city and the forests, or learning crafts from the people in the forest and that kind of stuff. It's sort of like an outreach program to outside the forest is a lot of what the people were invited here for.
So what you're saying is these people could check in any time they liked, but they couldn't leave.
No.
Can I roll a history check to see how much Gambol might know about Grove folk relations with other cultures and with like how much
sure.
cultural exchange there is? This is maybe Ellie metagaming a teensy bit, but like let's see if Gambol knows anything.
Generally, you'll know there isn't much. It's quite isolated, but if you want to know specific things, you can roll.
Let's see. That is a 16.
Yeah, you know that for a long time they've been very isolated, but it's very much a weird type of isolation. It's kind of a product of the environment in terms of it's very difficult for Grove folk to survive outside of the forest and for non-Grove folk to survive inside the forest. It takes a lot of work from either party to provide that. So there have been like exchanges and stuff, but recently you know that there's kind of been a push to get people in. You don't really know exactly why or like what's spurred it on, but in the last couple of years it's been happening.
So my current working theory is we are dealing with hyper-regional, very traditionalist ghosts.
That's what you go
So
to,
they-
is traditionalist ghosts, and not someone pretending to be a traditionalist ghost.
Trad wife ghosts.
Both is good.
You make a
Well,
fair
in my
point.
experience, ghosts have one of two objectives, and it's to get people to leave them alone or to get people out.
See? Hyper-regional
So why-
traditionalist ghosts.
Well, yes,
She
but
makes
then
a
why would
compelling
they be?
point.
Thank you.
Why would they be people going missing as opposed to people just being killed or?
For all we know, the bodies are all in that house. I think we should just
Oh,
go and look
no.
at the house.
Oh, good point.
I tend to agree.
You did say you might want information about the house in some way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can.
Yes, if at all
and-
possible, we would like to avoid getting ill.
Or murdered.
Of course.
Or dying.
Or taken over by ghosts to do their ghostly bidding.
Well, I think Jacob's already got that one covered, so
Yes, that's my point. 0 out of 10 do not recommend.
Gutless will bring you to a different part of the records. You're in the area for like births and deaths and population stuff. They bring you to a different area where it's more about like areas and houses and things like that, and like utilities or whatever, although you don't really have utilities. They start searching through and eventually they'll find a record that's of like the area, and we'll hand it off to you and they say, I'll have a look for something else. I think we might have something useful as well. But feel free to peruse that record while I look for this one. And you can search through this record and quite easily find reference to the same family. Well, yeah, you know it's a family now that went missing. The name registered to own one of the houses. This family of 4.
Interesting.
it's looking like we've got a standard location-based haunting here.
Gutless.
Yes?
Just to clarify, did all of these people go missing near and around the house?
We're not sure. We can't keep track of people as they enter the city, but I believe most of the people visiting the forest were coming from that region or were travelling through that area at some point.
Interesting. So potentially we've...
And then they bring...
Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So potentially we've got very territorial ghosts, but I don't know, like... what killed them in the first place is, I guess, what made them missing in the first place.
Presumably they were eaten by the ghosts.
But what if they are the ghosts? Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Well, there would have to be an initial ghost. Also, copyright, Gambol. There would have to be still an initial ghost to do the eating and ghost transformation. Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Potentially.
I don't think it really matters. I think we should go there and get it over with and fight the ghost.
And Gutless says, that sounds great. I did find this, and opens up a much thicker, denser folder and says, I believe, and starts like rifling through and like looking through things and then says, these are the plans for the area.
Ooh.
The houses are built very similarly.
Yaia gets very excited about that. And it's like, a map!
I will give you some.
OMG!
Oh,
This is very exciting. We can put this on the Twitter when this eventually comes out.
Twitter content.
This.
Ooh.
It's in Grovian, so you can't read this, but I couldn't be bothered to make a Grovian
I can read
script
it.
because.
Yeah.
And they say it might be different. The houses weren't always made exactly to specification, but this is the typical plan for this kind of a house.
Okay, that's useful.
So it's not the exact house.
I do like having the plans. It says Grove Folk Eastern Houses, and it's almost but not quite a square.
I'm so sorry, Gimbal.
It happens.
At least you got squared paper this time.
Gimbal just looks down at the paper that's definitely not a square. And then looks back up at you.
No,
it's got a grid mark on the paper.
It's got grid on it.
Everyone, look at this cool art.
Grids are good. Grids are good.
We have a cool floor plan, courtesy of Eiriol. Look at it on our Twitter.
Ha. Yes.
Is there anything on this book that's either dusty, torn, or wrinkled?
The whole book is a bit dusty, torn, and wrinkled.
Okay, any book that Gimbal has touched that is dusty or damaged in any way, and you immediately cast prestidigitation to clean it off, and mending to fix it.
Amazing.
Oh my
Amazing.
god.
Every
Amazing.
book that passes through Gimbal's hands is pristine when it leaves.
Okay.
Yes.
And then it's put away on the shelves to gather dust again.
I was going to say they always hand it over to Gambol, who immediately starts folding dog-earing pages.
No.
And then says, if you want, I can take you to the house now.
That would be good.
Sure.
I don't want to, I mean, obviously I would like this to be prepared and to not die, but Mira wants to...
To die.
It's not accurate to say that she hungers for ghost flesh, but...
Yaia is visibly uncomfortable.
If it's not accurate, why did you say it?
because those are the vibes. Those are the creepy vibes.
You know, as much as Mira is a serious force to be reckoned with and also kind of terrifying and haunting, I do like her energy.
Can we not talk about the creepy
I
haunted
don't
doll?
think she wants competition is the thing. I think she wants to be the scariest thing. And it works, because she is the scariest thing.
Well, you have to respect that. It's a ghost that knows exactly what it wants.
It
Yeah!
wants to be
Yikes.
scarier than the other ghosts.
I have a request to Gertless.
Yes.
Can we stop 5 miles out from the house? Oh, I've gone Scottish again.
Of course, why?
Well, I can tell if there's a ghost in there if we're 5 miles away.
Is that as far as you want to get close to it?
5 miles, God.
That's as close. That's as far as we can get. But it's within 5 miles. Is what I'm trying to say.
But it's far enough away that it probably won't be able to kill us from there.
Well, I hope so.
If it can kill us from 5
We'll
miles
find
away,
that
we-
out.
we're just we are doomed.
I was not prepared for this, baby.
Yes!
Okay, yeah, you can.
Yes, Chloe making the most competent characters!
Yeah. So
Are we headed out?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Gambol gets up from the chair that she has been sitting completely incorrectly on. She can't sit on a chair properly, something I'm sure many of our listeners will relate to.
me too.
It's one of those things where it's like, is it a completely ridiculous stereotype for queer people to not be able to sit on chairs
No.
properly? I mean, surely there's nothing about being queer that makes you not want to sit on chairs properly. On the other hand,
And yet,
am I sitting there with like sideways on the sofa with one leg on the top of the sofa and one leg dangling off of the sofa? Yes.
I feel like the Venn diagram of queer and neurodivergent just keeps getting closer and closer until eventually it will just be a circle.
oof.
Back to D&D. You make your way to 5 miles out from the building. I like a little bit in from that to make sure. What's the feature that you're
So,
using, by the way? Do you know?
It's primeval awareness.
Ooh.
I need to spend 1 uninterrupted minute, so I turn to Gimbal and I go, Gimbal, I'm going to take 1 minute and 6 seconds. And, sit down.
Gimbal nods solemnly. With great respect.
I can sense whether any of my favourite enemies, which is undead, are present within 5 miles. It reveals which of the enemies are present, their numbers, and the creature's general direction and distance in miles from us. If there's multiple groups of favoured enemies within range, you learn this information for each group.
Your favourite enemy is undead, right?
Yes. Anything undead.
Okay. So it's strange. It's hard to describe exactly. You're doing this thing, sensing out, putting out vibes into the atmosphere. You do pick up something in that direction, right? The direction that you've been pointed is the right direction to. And you're sort of like, oh yeah, I can sense that there's something undead there. There's an undead creature of some form there. But as you're trying to kind of figure out what their numbers and the sort of the groupings of it, it's floaty. There's no like clean line in any of it. You think that there might be just one and it's big, but there also could be two, and you can kind of feel them starting to split apart, and then it's all one big thing, and then it's all one quite small thing actually, and then it goes quite quiet in a way. There is still that underlying like the smell of something having been there, but there's nothing actively going on anymore.
This is highly unusual.
Oh, cool. That sounds fun.
No, it's not fun. Well, it's definitely haunted,
Well, good.
Yeah, doy.
but I can't tell what by or how many of them there are or where it is. And usually I can.
Nice. Surprises. I love surprises.
I hate surprises.
You're pretty sure of where it is.
So it is a ghost, though, or plural.
Oh, it's definitely undead. It might be a zombie, but it's probably a ghost.
Okay. That's good enough for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm guessing you make your way to the house now from this point.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, I'm just wondering... I don't want us to get attacked. Yeah, we'll be, like, on the lookout.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Like,
As we get closer, though, Gimbal is casting mage armor on both himself and Gambol.
Thank you for registering that I didn't choose mage armor because I'm chaotic and my armor class was therefore 10.
Oof.
It's 13 now.
It's-
Yeah, baby.
Oh yeah, mage armor isn't concentration.
No.
I think when he does this, Gambol's just gonna hold Gimbal's hand.
Oh.
It is a ranged
Aw.
touch, so that is
Cute.
necessary.
Nice.
Entirely necessary.
Yes!
It's perfectly logical and necessary that we be holding hands right now.
Whatever you say.
Aww.
You get to this house. It's a very tall house because all ceilings in the Growfolk City are vaulted to like 13 feet at least, and like all the doorways are like 10 feet.
Like
tall.
in stark contrast to Ellie making the Clockwork City appropriate for short people and short people only, Eiriol's dream is just somewhere where tall people can walk without having to duck anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's intimidatingly. If like a gnome's in the city, it's like cool. This ceiling's like 4 times my height.
Nice.
And some of the people are 4 times my height. So yeah, you walk up to this house. You see this tall building, and it's very similar to the other Growfolk buildings. It's got the same sort of design, and it's made in the same way, but all of the windows have been shuttered closed. There's very little light going inside. It feels more closed off than any of the other houses. The other houses have the windows open, and often the doors open. It brings in light, and it looks very lush and green and everything. And this just looks greyer and darker. As you're walking towards this house, you feel it start to drizzle. And the rain is starting to fall upon you and upon the city, and it's still warm outside. It's not cold,
Pathetic fallacies.
I was about to say!
but it is starting to drizzle, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop soon. The sky is cloudy, and it's not looking too lush and lovely like it was sort of early on in the day.
Someone's not happy.
before we finish, Nate, do you want to say where you're from and where we can find you?
Sure. I'm from Cast of Many Things. You can find me on Twitter at NateScottJones or at CastOManyThings. We've got a bunch of fun many things in the Cast of Many Things. The most relevant of which is you should listen to Worms in Space, which is our test kitchen collaboration with Doma.
It was very fun.
Yay!
It was very, very fun.
Yeah.
Also, side note, Gimbal is using prestidigitation as an umbrella.
Yes! Very good. Nothing can shield you from the pathetic fallacy, though.
I came up with the prophetic fallacy on the spot. The rain was planned.
Pathetic fallacy or prophetic fallacy? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Deck of Many Aces is Am Chisholm, Chloe Elliott, Eiriol Evans, Katie McLeod, and me, Ellie Webster. And in this special episode featuring Nate Scott Jones. Deck of Many Aces can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Deck of Many Aces, and you can tweet at us with the hashtag DOMA, that's DOMA. You can also find us on Podchaser at Deck of Many Aces, where you can leave us a nice review and tell us that you love us, and it will be very much appreciated, and it will make my day in these cold, dark nights. Anyway, if you want to hear more of the amazing music that gets made on the show, then you can check out Chloe Elliott's SoundCloud or find the first volume of our original soundtrack on Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, and wherever else you listen to music. Also, we have very exciting news. Behind the scenes, Katie has been beavering away and working very, very hard to get us our very first transcripts. This is something that we have been wanting to do for a really long time because accessibility is very important to us. However, transcripts are very, very time consuming, but Katie is beginning to make her way through all of the episodes. They've started with episode 1, our very, very first episode, which if you're feeling nostalgic, you can go back and read it, speed read it instead of listening to it, and the first episode of the Spicy Forest Interlude. You can find those in links in the episode description, and I will be posting about them on Twitter because boy am I hyped. As always, if you want to hear the melodious voices of our cast members, look no further than other podcasts. You can find Am on A Rendezvous with Destiny. Rendezvous with Destiny is releasing an episode weekly instead of once every 2 weeks on the run up to Christmas, so get excited for that, and you can go and check that out on their feed. You can find Chloe, Am, and I on a new fantasy audio drama, Bones of the Land, releasing every Sunday. You can find Chloe and Eiriol on Cast of Many Things Masks 6-shot campaign, and you can find me on Brain Adventures Employees Be Damned, also releasing every other Sunday throughout the holiday period. You can also find Chloe, as always, on her Twitch stream channel at @Chloe_with-the-flow. I've already waxed lyrical to you about the Acast supporter link, so I won't bore you with the details once again. But if you are feeling in a giving spirit, then we would really appreciate you donating just that little bit extra. The people who have donated so far, we really appreciate you and your support, and it's allowing us to think about fronting costs that we couldn't begin to think about otherwise. So that's really exciting for us. That is probably everything. I will see you all on the 10th of December. I will see you all then. Have an ace week. Bye!